Good evening, everybody.
Hello, happy Sunday to you, and best wishes to all the fathers out there. Hopefully you were all spoiled today. Hopefully you got breakfast in bed and you were looked after. In fact, hopefully all the fathers were mothered today.
Yes,
Today.
Mothered. Happy Father's Day to all of you amazing men.
Yeah, sometimes, usually, the father energy is not really honored in the same way that the mother energy is honored. So I'm quite strong on honoring the father energy.
For sure.
We need both. We need the masculine and the feminine energy, and the world seems to honor more the feminine energy, the mothering energy, than the male energy. And yeah, I don't think there are many fathers that honor their role as fathers. But it doesn't negate there are many fathers who are good fathers, and they do need to be honored for the influence, the good influence they have on society and on the world.
So welcome. It's a very powerful day today, as some of you may have seen already and seen and felt and got wind of. So big day. Solar Eclipse, it's the Solstice and lots more. So it's a good day to get together.
Yeah, it's also a day of balanced energies, isn't it? It's, the yin and the yang are quite nicely balanced today. So that's always a portal to step into love. So we'll be looking quite a lot tonight at this energy of love and what is love. And I would suggest it's the one energy that we really need to put our focus on at the moment. We really need to invest in at the moment. What the world needs now is love.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to be looking at tonight as well. And Michelle will update us on the astrology at the moment, which is really interesting. There's some powerful energies going on right now today, and also in the week ahead. So Michelle will give us an astro update. But let's start out by doing the most important part of any day, and that's centering ourselves in alignment with life. And to remember, the acronym for that is OWL, One with Life. And it's not to do it once or twice a day, it's to do it continually throughout the day to bring yourself into alignment with life. So we always start out by practicing that exercise of aligning ourselves back into reality, because life is reality and life is only ever now. The present moment is reality. And the only problems we ever have is when we leave reality, when we disconnect from life. And that's where the troubles of the mind come from. And so let's start this evening by just bringing ourselves fully into the present moment. And one of the ways we can do that is by absorbing our awareness in something that we can physically see in our environment right now. So what I suggest you do, I've got a candle here, and that's a nice thing to bring your awareness on. We've got a salt lamp behind us. But I'm sure there's some object that you've got around you that you can just bring your total focus of attention onto. Now, the secret here in this exercise is not to label it, not to judge it. For example, we have a glass of water here, and the mind will come along and want to judge it. Half empty, says all the pessimists, and half full, says all the optimists. Well, it's neither half full or half empty, it's just a glass with water in. So whatever you bring your attention on, don't label it. If you have a pot plant there, don't label it. Just allow it to be there in this moment, as if you are a child observing something for the very first time. So you have this virgin perception right in this moment of what you're going to bring your focus of attention on. So just have some object with you right now, and just bring your full focus of attention onto that particular object. A glass of water is a great one. Water is actually life. Without water, we don't have life. And water is intelligent. There's an amazing Russian documentary called Water, where they go into, we don't understand water. We can't understand water. Water complexity and intelligence is beyond our science at the moment. So if you have a glass of water, that's a beautiful object to focus your awareness on.
Or a candle.
Or a candle, yeah. Water, you can have a sense of gratitude for that for quite easily, and also a candle, giving us light. So just bring your awareness for a moment out of your story, out of yesterday and out of tomorrow, out of what happened 5 minutes ago or what may happen in 5 minutes' time. Just bring your attention your full attention right now to this object that you've selected without labeling it. Just bring your full attention there and let your awareness rest in that object for a moment. This object has no self-awareness. But as you sit and bring your awareness to that object, you are giving that object your consciousness, your conscious awareness of its existence. And that's a sacred act. So right now what you're doing is you're participating in a very sacred act of observation. So just bring your awareness fully onto that object of your attention without labeling or judging it. And as you do that, become aware of a stillness that builds in your mind as you bring your total awareness to an object of attention. Without labeling or judging. You're just aware of it as a child would perceive something for the very first time. Be in awe of the structure, of the color, of the texture. Be in awe of how this particular object serves in the function of life, with no story. Just this direct perception of that object as something very sacred. Can you imagine right now looking at that object if the divine had just created this just for your observation in this moment? Feel your heart opening as you look at this object. Feel a connection from you with that object. Feel a sense of oneness with that object directly, not through the mind, but directly from the heart. And as you do that, you maintain your awareness on the stillness that arises within you, which is a reflection of the stillness that is in that object. So there's a commonality between you and the object. And that is the stillness that both you and the object share. And your stillness and the object's stillness is one. And that recognition of that is love. Love is the recognition of oneness in your awareness. Feel that in your heart. Now gently close your eyes. And just maintain that sense of stillness within your mind and within your heart. And see that stillness washing through your body. Feel that vibration of stillness through your whole being. That vibration of stillness is life. Feel the oneness with life right now. That is love, the love of life. It has no preferences, no judgments, no sense of separation. It is one with you because it is you. It's your true being. Now take a deep breath in and let it go. And gently, when you're ready, open your eyes. And as you do that, just see how you feel in this moment. How do you feel? just tell us in the comments box how you feel right now.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'd like to kick off this evening with just reading something that appeared in one of the groups that I'm on. And it's a word of, it's some words of wisdom from a Native American elder. If you can see that, not really, there we go. You could just see that briefly. His name is Chief Dan George. And he says, "It is hard for me to understand a culture that not only hates and fights his brothers, but even attacks nature and abuses her. Man must love all. Man must love all creation, or he will love none of it. Love is something you and I must have. We must have it because our spirit feeds upon it. Without love, our self-esteem weakens. Without it, our courage fails. Without love, we can no longer look out confidently at the world. Instead, we turn inwardly and begin to feed on our own personality. And little by little, we destroy ourselves." So that's just setting the theme for this evening.
Beautiful. Very apt. So the energies right now, today, earlier on today in South Africa, it was about 8:45. We had a solar eclipse, which means that the moon passes over the surface of the sun, but not completely, so it leaves a halo. And I've spoken about that in my video, which some of you might have watched, but if you haven't watched it, this is just to give you an update and to just reinforce the message. The other thing that's happening today is that it's the solstice. It's the winter solstice.
Just want to interrupt you. Where can
Yes.
people see the video if they haven't seen it
It's
already?
on my Facebook page. And I think John's put
Your
it on
Facebook page is?
It's Michelle McLuhan. And Michelle McLuhan Life Navigator. So it's there. So watch it, because it's still, the energy's still around now, because it's a new moon. So solar eclipse is a new moon, which basically is always the start of a new cycle. So that on its own is always very powerful. When it's an eclipse, it's more powerful. When it's a solar eclipse like this, it's even more powerful, because it's actually at 0 degrees of the sign Cancer, which is what we call a cardinal sign. So there's many different sort of energies at play here, that plus a whole lot of other things, which is pointing to us that this is a portal, it's an opening. It's also the second of 3 eclipses in a row. So the next one will be in 2 weeks' time. So it's sort of an eclipse gateway, which is almost like a birth canal, that something new is being birthed, but hasn't been birthed yet. So we're kind of on the verge of birthing something new. And really what it is very much in keeping with what John has just been saying and what he led us through just now in our opening meditation, was that this is the embracing of unity, of love, of togetherness. It's specifically this particular solar eclipse is in Cancer, which is what we call a cardinal water sign, which is very, very powerful feminine energy. So
on Father's Day.
On Father's Day, yeah. So we've got mothering, feminine, amazingly strong energy on Father's Day. But really it's about, the way I see this, as an energy that sets up for the month, because in addition to this beautiful unifying energy, we also have the sun in a square to, Mars in a square to that, and Mars is the planet of war and fighting. So the polarization that we're feeling at the moment, with people fighting each other and creating separate sides, is the opposite of what this is telling us to do. So we're all gathered here tonight because obviously we're on that same page, which is to come together in love. It's about connection. It's about heart connection. It's about honoring the feminine within us. And when I say that, I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about men and women. We all have a feminine side. We all have a masculine side. And when the two are out of balance, that's when we have huge issues. So there's all this separation. Even with this, this COVID thing, we're not able to connect the way we normally connect with people. We're not able to hug people, which is what makes life worth living, really, is that very deep connection that we have with other people. So this is about honoring our differences. It's honoring the different colors that we are, the different persuasions we are, the different genders that we are, everything. It's about tolerance. It's about bringing it together and uniting us as one, which is what John was saying, one with life, one. We are one. We are not separate. And the energy of this time, the astrology of this time is reinforcing that we are not separate. And it's the separation that's causing all the issues. So it's honoring our differences. It's also honoring our feelings, our emotions. And emotions might run high this week. So it's a heads up that if emotions do run high, just be there for them. Accept that you are feeling these things that are coming up from the unconscious. The other thing that's happening is Jupiter and Pluto are right next to each other, which doesn't happen very often, and that's amplifying whatever's hidden beneath the surface, bringing it up to the surface. So we might be more sensitive than normal. We might be more triggered than normal. So if you feel more sort of like you're on edge and you're just about to blow a fuse or burst into tears, breathe and bring yourself back to that present moment. It's really about stepping into the flow of this beautiful, feminine, very strong energy. Feminine energy is not weak. It's exceptionally powerful. In astrology, we see feminine energy as water, and water is probably the most powerful element. It's the one element that never dies, always finds its way to where it's going. So this is really these times and this week and this month, because this is actually bringing in a month of Cancerian energy, and it's going to end with another new moon in Cancer. So it's very unusual that we have 2 new moons or 2 full moons in a sign in 1 month. So it's extending this theme right out for the whole month. So it's about holding space for yourself, holding space for other people who might be moving through some difficult stuff. You might find that old issues coming back, maybe from childhood even, come up. And they're coming up for healing. And healing means to bring together, to make whole. So they're not coming up just to give us a hard time. They're coming up so that we can be feeling them and healing them and letting them flow through us. Not repressing them and sticking them underneath into the basement, where they're going to come up like an explosion at some point, which they do. So anything that you didn't feel okay to deal with when you were a child might come up over the next few months. And it's okay. It's just to bring compassion to that feeling. It might come up as a physical sensation. So you might have repeats of physical stuff that might come up.
You might have a sore knee.
You might have a sore knee. John's been hobbling around for the last few days.
And amazing, because this really reached a peak about 25 years ago when I was on a hike, I think 25, 30 years ago, and it sort of disappeared, but it's come back again. So that's maybe an old issue.
Absolutely. And so a physical issue might come up. Just see if you can connect it back to see when it was the last time and what there might be that needs to be felt that wasn't felt. Because, as we go through our lives, we get messages that we shouldn't feel the feelings that we feel. So we put them underneath the surface. Or we don't know how to deal with them, so we don't feel them at the time, and then they come up again and again. So I just see this whole year as clearing away what's no longer needed. And the other theme, which I'll just chat briefly about, is coming home. Cancer is the sign of coming home. It's the sign of the crab. And if you ever look and watch crabs in a little rock pool, I'm a Cancerian, so I know Cancer quite well, Cancerian sun. So if you look at a rock pool, you've got the little crab. If you chuck a piece of bread in, that little crab will come scuttling out from underneath his rock. He'll grab that piece of bread, and then he'll scuttle back underneath the rock again. So it's quite private, quite not sure if I'm going to come out and get it. Yes, I will. And he'll always get the piece of bread, and he'll always go back underneath his little safe place. So this is about finding a safe place within ourselves. So the crab carries his shell on his back. We need to find that sense of safety within ourselves. So it's about going within, not finding our safety and security from the outside world, which is going bazonkers. It's actually finding it within ourselves. And we keep saying the same thing, but that is what the theme of this time is. Because if you're on the perimeter of the wheel, you're going to spin out. If you're filling yourself with too much information, you're going to spin out. So it's coming home to who you actually are, which is not this body, it's not this mind, it's not this house, it's not this partner. It's deeper than that. And that's the divine connection that John and I are attempting to work with you guys on. Yeah.
Convey,
So I think that's enough astrology, but it's really not about astrology, because astrology is a study of energy. So it's a chance for us to talk about this and to actually feel the energy. If you're feeling tired, you might be feeling tired. Rest if you can. Maybe take it a little bit easier if you can. This is about beingness, not doingness. There's 5 planets retrograde. It's not going to be moving forward the way we want it to, even though we want it to. So there's a certain amount of frustration there if we're trying to push the river instead of flow with the river.
Yeah. And I think it can build up a huge dysfunction within us if we resist the natural cycle of stillness, of quietness.
Yes.
We can actually make ourselves quite sick and quite ill if we try going against the flow right now.
Well, it's exhausting. I mean, it's like
It's
standing in a river trying to stop the river, saying, no, I'm going to go up when the river's going down. It's going to be very tiring. You might drown.
Yeah.
So we've got to try and go with the flow of this energy. And when we are we can feel that it's not moving forward, just do what you can, and then stop. And maybe that just means stopping throughout your day, getting a little bit more sleep, nurturing yourself, having a beautiful long hot bath. That's what the energy of this month's about, is being a mother to you, mothering yourself.
Yeah. And part of that, I spoke earlier about being one with life, the owl, one with life. Part of that is to also trust life, because how can you stop fighting the world unless you trust? If you do not trust life, you're going to be continually in this hectic notion that I've got to produce. And that is not true. I mean, birds don't wake up in the morning with this hecticness. How am I going to find the right number of twigs to build my nest, or the right number of worms? Or it doesn't. It gets up and does what? It sings in gratitude. So what I suggest we do in this time when planets are not really honoring the forward process, they're saying, come back, consolidate, it's to sing with gratitude in the stillness of not moving forward. How about that? And it's also to be aware of this, what Michelle was speaking about this time of polarity, although today it's coming together, but on the outside, with Mars and square. So basically we have a lot of duality going on. We have a lot of a war going on between light and dark, between fear and love. This is a war that's going on. So you will be pulled. You'll be pulled into arguments. Well, let me put it this way. Your mind will be pulled into arguments. Your ego will, be presented with wonderful opportunities to defend itself. And that's not going to work out too well for you. So right now, as Michelle said, is come back into the home. And the home isn't a place out there. It's, heaven isn't a place in the future. Heaven is in the stillness that is already within you in this moment. This is the stillness that we seek. This is your home. This is your true platform. And as you start to discover this and honor this, you will be safe in the storm. And we spoke about the rim of the wheel with all the happenstances on that wheel, and the wheel is going very fast. But in that center of that wheel, there's that stillness. In the center of the storm, there's that stillness. And that's our home. And I think as we move through this next week, the more we make the stillness within us, within this moment, irrespective of what the mind is saying, irrespective of all the stories that's going on in the periphery of your awareness, if you come back to that center, that is home. And that is non-dual. The center is non-dual. While the world of dualism is going on, you have your masculine, your feminine, and your white and your dark, and all these fights going on, you come back into your center, with no judgment. There's no judgment in the center. There's no need for time in the center. In fact, there is no time in the center. It's pure presence. And that is our place of retreat into this, while we're not moving forward in any rapid way, in any sort of human egoic manner that we love. I mean, we medicate on doing, don't we? We medicate on achievement. Well, right now that medicine's been taken away a little bit, so now we have to, well, we're given the sacred opportunity to come back home.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I think, I think we also get praised for doing. From a young age,
Yeah.
most of us. Very seldom do you get praised for lying on a couch. I know I wasn't, certainly as a child. He was like, wow, what are you doing? Do something. Go clean your cupboards. We don't get praised for being. We get praised for doing. So what do? We do more of what we get praised for. We do more of what we do when we get loved. So if we are loved and praised for making things happen, well, we're going to do more of that. And then we're going to feel almost guilty for those times when we're not achieving. And I speak to a lot of people on a daily basis, and so many people say that even when they give themselves a little bit of time, there's this guilt there. There's this ancient, the Protestant work ethic. I mean, that's like filters into our brains, especially as the older ones, that, you've got to be doing something and making something happen. Otherwise, you're not worthwhile, and you're not worth the breath that you're breathing. And this is what I think is changing, is that there's a new way being born, which is the old way, which went away, and now we can see that this old way, the way that the world's been operating on for so many years is not working. It's not sustainable. The planet can't sustain. We can't sustain it. We're working harder and harder for less and less. We're losing connection with our families because we're always working. So I think it's a reset point.
It is.
I think it's a reset. It's a call to say, okay, what is not working? How can you do this differently? How can you honor both masculine and feminine parts of yourself and everybody else without judgment?
Yeah. So how can you honor the doing and the being?
Yeah.
Because they can both operate together. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
But in the past, we have honored the doing.
Yeah.
And the reason is because the world wants you to be a human doing. Because through the human doingness, you can make a lot of money for people who have learned the lesson already, and they get other people to do their doingnesses for them. But right now, it's about regaining our power, stepping back into the power of love, which is within us, and balancing this doing with the being. So what Michelle was saying there was quite interesting, because we've been programmed from young to find value in ourselves through the doingnesses. So our parents will love us if we do well. And so what do? We seek love through doing. Now, love is not in doing. Love is in being. And that model, and if you haven't seen that model on the web, my matrix model, you can have a look at the YouTube clip on that, on the matrix, where we have the horizontal plane of doing, the horizontal plane of time, of going from past to future. And that's where most human doings live. They live in that timeline, always looking for fulfillment in the future. And yet there's another line that runs through that in the vertical plane. That vertical line represents being. Now, in the truth, when you're in the center of that cross, that's when you are the human being. That's when you're honoring the human experience with your full beingness. Now, love is to be found at that point of centeredness. Love is not to be found in the matrix in the future, when you've achieved XYZ or acquired XYZ. No, love is to be found as your true essence, as your true beingness, which is always in the present moment. So you can achieve, yes, you can acquire, yes, as long as you don't look for that achievement or that acquisition to provide you with love, because it can't. Never mind what the advertisers tell you. They tell you if you have this car or you have this chocolate cake or whatever, you're going to find love in. No, you don't find love in anything that's been manufactured by the mind. You find love in your true essence, your true beingness. And that card that I read out right in the beginning by Chief George is a call back to the value of love in our society. You know, we had religion and that was sort of left, and we had a new religion formed, and the new religion is science. And science, you know, has got all the answers, and we look to science to provide us with everything. Science has left brain, and there is no love in science. They've left that one ingredient totally out. And I believe this reset point that we're going through this year is to bring love back into your awareness, into our doingness, whether you are a scientist or whatever, to bring the love back into your doingness, to make love primary. And what is love? Love is your sense of connection. Do you work with a sense of connection or with a sense of disconnection? Are you doing it to manipulate, or are you doing it to serve? Serving is an aspect of love. Manipulation is an aspect of the ego, trying to get its needs met, trying to get its insecurities met. And we built a world on manipulation, on fear. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And now we're at that reset point. We are now at a point where a new world is being born, and Michelle said that even this week we're looking at going down the birth canal again. That's the process. We're birthing something new. Do we want to birth a new world based on manipulation, on fear, on having our egoic needs met, irrespective of the cost to the other? Or are we willing to give up that continual mind searching for meaning and future? Are we willing to step back into our heart and start to work with love, with a sense of connection and community? That's the choice that we're all getting to make. And I believe there are many worlds being born, and each one of us will experience the world in a slightly different way in the months and the years to come. And those that have invested in fear will experience a very fearful, troublesome, challenging world. Those that have invested in connection, in love and community will find life, the world that's being birthed will be far more user-friendly for them than those that are still stuck in the left brain and the scientific disconnected mode. So that's really the choice that we get to make this weekend, right now with the new moon. That's when we plant, we make decisions, we make choices. It's a good time to choose very wisely today, particularly as you go off to sleep tonight, before you close your eyes. Just think about the seeds that you are planting right now. Are they seeds of separation?
Yeah.
Or are they seeds of connection? Do you base your vibration in need or in gratitude?
Yeah, because this is the seed planting time, and it's a very fertile time. So today, tomorrow, these are the times. This is the time when you plant the seeds for the next season. So what seeds are you planting? Are you going to plant the same old seeds that you planted last time that didn't bear fruit, or are you going to plant new ones, nourishing ones, nurturing ones? So it's about that, and it's also about that this love that John talks about it starts with yourself. It really does, because if we can't love ourselves, how do we actually? And that comes from that vertical plane, which is where you just are. You accept yourself because you are the I am. You are not separate. You're not that or that. You just are. This is who I am. So if we can fall in love with that, then it's just normal to actually take that out into the world like that. It's because it's when we polarize that we can't do that. Because we're seeing everything as something that's opposite to us. And there's this resistance. So it's just to see, I think, where the resistance is, and to keep coming back. Keep coming and dropping the defenses as well. I pulled a card for us tonight because I thought it was an apt one. So I called, well, it's still going to be upside wrong way around. It's called Inanna, and it's from the deck, the Divine Feminine, which is gifted to me by a very good friend of mine. And because today is this day, I just thought I'd read you a little bit of it. She says, Inanna is an invitation to get naked.
How about that? We can dance
There we
naked
go.
under the
Under
new
the
moon.
moonlight. Well, there's no
No,
moonlight.
no moonlight under the night. Well, it's best to do it when there's no moon. No one can
Can't
see your
see.
nakedness. Yeah.
She wants us to drop our defenses. She wants us to see how holy and sacred it is to be vulnerable. Now, the polarized mind and the conditioning that we've been conditioned to believe does not say that. It says vulnerability is not a good thing. Okay, Cancer, this energy, yes, it is. As above, so below. This is an alchemical adage that suggests that heaven and earth are not so separate, male and female. It suggests that within us, deep down in the dark cages where we place parts of ourselves, the truths that exist there also exist right here on the surface of our everyday lives. So if we are exerting great amounts of energy to keep from seeing our shadow, it is actually playing a large role in our conscious life, because whatever we're repressing is going to play out in our lives. When we can face what we think is dark or negative about us, so those emotions that we've banished to the basement, those things that we don't like about ourselves, when we can face that, I mean really embrace it and see it for what it is, in brackets, a beautiful broken place, that's a call for love. Because those beautiful broken places within us are calling for our love. That's what's called for. Then we can emerge more whole. We can marry the light and the dark aspects of our being. And in uniting with our sister from the depths, we can stop projecting her. We can see and own the hot mess that we often are, but not be sabotaged by it. The light must cast a shadow. And the call is to love them both. So it's just to see that there's no separation. It's not dark and light and I can't accept this part of me, but I can accept this part. So I'm going to stay in this part and not accept this part. Because this part then is going to play out and want to get noticed and want to get loved. So it's in that middle point where we love all sides of ourselves and all sides of everybody else. There's no polarization there. There can't be. But it's in its full acceptance of all aspects of yourself.
That's beautiful. That word acceptance leads us into love. It's hard to understand love. In fact, one can't understand love. But when you use the word acceptance as a signpost pointing you towards it, it's very, very helpful. So what that's saying is there's parts of ourselves that we do not accept, that we find unacceptable. And if we find it unacceptable in ourselves, we project it out into the world and we find the world and those aspects in other people unacceptable as well. What you find unacceptable in another, you have buried deep inside yourself. So the step towards love, love is the healing point, if one understands that. Not only does your heart yearn for it, but it's also the healing point of every aspect of yourself, of those disassociated parts. And the doorway there is through acceptance. Through acceptance, to come back to the isness of just this moment. And the only thing you have to accept is not yesterday and tomorrow, just this moment, and how you intersecting with yesterday and tomorrow, just this moment. And yesterday and tomorrow manifest in your awareness through your thoughts and through your emotions. So you accept those. You accept your thoughts in this moment and your feelings in this moment. And in fact, those of you who are with us on the Journey to Freedom course, which is that 13-week course, and I know some of you are with us on that course. This new week that we're going to be opening up on Tuesdays is called Feeling is Healing. And this is the reset point. This is the real healing that takes place. As you feel, as you accept your thoughts, your emotions, that's when the real healing comes in. When you judge them, suppress them, and push them, keep them locked up in the basement or the attic, that's where the dysfunction, that's where the pathology takes place.
Yeah, absolutely. And the intention for this card is I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. Because it's the witness that's seeing and accepting all that you are. So you don't have to go into it, but you can notice it and say, do I need to love this part of me more? So if this part of me is coming out and it's raging and it's angry, And if I can go deeper into that and see what's underneath the anger, I'll probably find there's fear, and there's probably sadness and insecurity. Can I love that part of me even more? Because she or he is wanting to be loved even more. If you're Suni, can I love that part of me even more? Can I send my love into that area of my body, into that tricky, horrible, spiky emotion that I might push away and push away and push away, and then it comes out like a little monster. So it's about acceptance, true, full acceptance. That is this feminine energy. It's acceptance. It's holding. It's holding whatever arises in that moment. 100% holding, except with full acceptance. And generally we don't do that too well, because we're judging ourselves every 5 minutes on what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. And then we're judging other people too. It's natural.
Yeah, so that's there to be vulnerable and to stand naked. So after we finish tonight's satsang, then you can all go and dance around the garden naked in your vulnerability. And it's totally black out there, so no one can see you. Yeah. You might catch cold in the southern hemisphere because it's winter here at the moment. Yeah. So love is vulnerable, but in that vulnerability comes infinite strength. It's when you put these barriers around you that you think you're protected. That's when that's your true weakness.
Yes.
And those barriers that you put around yourself to protect yourself are actually your prison walls, and they separate you from love. And your heart yearns for love, but you've put these barriers between you and life, between you and love. And now we have to dissolve those barriers. We have to stand naked. We have to stand vulnerable in front of ourselves, in front of our own perception of who and what we are. That's the journey that we're on right now, is to recognize that divine essence of who and what you are, and to honor that magnificence. That's what the world needs right now, because as you find that divine essence in you, so you'll find it in everything. We did that exercise to start this evening where we took an object, and in that moment you start to recognize the divine essence in that object. It's in everything. You don't have to take acid to experience that, to see that divine essence in everything. You just have to open your awareness. And you do it by entering that vertical plane, that plane of presence, that plane of being, rather than being stuck on the horizontal plane.
Yeah, and it's honoring that divine essence in that object or that flower or that tree or the other person. And I mean, that's namaste. It's honor that in you. I see that in you. We are one. We are not separate. So we've all got a job to do, because we all, on this group, we all, whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it light workers or whatever the name is for it, we're all standing here saying we want to help birth this new world, this new earth. And the only way we can do that is to stand together.
And to open our hearts. To stand together with open hearts, with a sense of community, with a sense of connection, with a sense of oneness, with a sense of vulnerability, with a sense of nakedness. If we stand in that circle, that's when we are open portals, powerful portals, for the Christ energy, for the love energy to come through. And that brilliant light automatically dissolves the darkness of the mind, of the logical mind that manipulates and controls and works through fear and separation. We are the light that we're looking for. And now is the time to allow that light to shine. And it's an allowingness that gets the light to shine. Letting your light shine is not a doingness. People want to be light workers as a doingness. No, it's the allowing. It's allowing the light to shine. Allowing and acceptance are the two signposts which point us towards love. Allowing and accepting. Those are the two signposts. And this is a process, particularly this week that we're going through, to be more in a state of allowing than a state of resisting.
Yeah. And just to notice when the resistance comes in, because it's a feeling of closing. And allowing is a feeling of opening. And if you can just use that during the week. Oh, I'm resisting, I'm closing. Or, okay, and I'm going to open now. I'm going to open to this, even though it doesn't feel good. Even though it doesn't feel pleasant. Even though my mind's giving me a million stories about it. I'm going to just open to it.
And you open and trust.
It's huge. It's huge that just the word open and close is such a powerful thing. because it's almost like it's opening a window. As you know, you don't have to force the light to go through the window, you just open the window. So it's just opening to the light, opening to whatever's presented, as opposed to fighting and resisting. So that's what we're being called to do. That's what we believe.
And so if you look at the work that we're going to be doing on the course this next week is feeling is healing. So the actual purpose of life is feeling good. They say feeling good is feeling God. And that's the purpose of life, is to feel good. And so all of you now watching, if you can just do this for a moment, take your fists, close them, and close your heart as well. Just do this for a moment and see how you feel. And then you open your palms and open your arms and see which feels better. Yeah. In this moment, what creates your most connection to life? This or this? Yeah. So this represents the openness. But in order to be open, you have to trust. You have to trust life. And life is way more intelligent, way more powerful than us as individuals. So, your left brain is a tiny speck of intelligence in the universe. And I would suggest that, yes, it has its role to play. But we can trust a bigger intelligence. And that requires openness to connect with that intelligence. And that intelligence will lead us through this. I know at times, I can think of one time coming back, driving back one night from town, and it was raining, coming down Hospital Hill, which is it's about 5 lanes there, and it was raining. And suddenly ahead of me, there were all these cars going every which way up the bank on the side. And I just went into pure presence and just found I didn't drive the car. It just wove its way through all these smashing cars. And I came out the other side, and the person I was with looked at me and said, "Gee, you're an incredible driver." And I didn't drive the car. The car drove itself because it wasn't the car driving itself. Life was driving that car. And so as we align with life, so we start to get into this, what's called flow. And we find that we are in the right place at the right time. We automatically find ourselves moving in the right direction. We don't even have to make the choices. The choices are already made for us. That's tapping into this higher intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So it's 17 past. I'm going to end with a meditation, a nice uniting healing meditation. Yeah. And just before that, just a reminder, for those of you who don't know about it, we are starting another Journey to Freedom course on the 25th of this month with a free call.
Which is Thursday.
It's Thursday night. It starts with a free call on Zoom. So it's a 13-week journey, but you can join us for the first week for free and see how you like it. It's quite a powerful journey. And we are working in very powerful times. So we're working on all of these themes that John and I are talking about on a weekly basis, but much deeper in the course, so that you get a chance to really interact with the teachings and integrate them into your life in a powerful, transformative way.
So that course kicks off on Thursday night with a Zoom meeting. Yeah. You go to the website, www.journeys to freedom, Journeys of Awakening, Journeys of Awakening, and on that home page, in fact, you can see all about Journey to Freedom, and then you can just log on and join for the first week free of charge, and you don't even have to put your credit card details in or anything like that. Just come and join us. But if you really are focused on transformation, if you really would like to shift your life, if you would like to shift more into love, and remove the barriers that you hold within you to love and life and joy and bliss and peace, then commit yourself to the full 13 weeks. It's a journey that you will never regret, and the person who steps onto the journey will not be the person who leaves the journey. There will be a major transformation in you over those 13 weeks, absolutely guaranteed.
Yeah. And it's lovely because we actually build up a community like we're doing here on our Sunday nights. But it's an engaging community intimate. Because we chat, we talk on Zoom, we talk on Facebook as a private group. So we're building up a beautiful community there. And this journey can be quite lonely because you might have family that don't get it. So it's really nice to connect with like-minded. So that's our invitation to you. So join us.
Yeah, go along and have a look, journeysofawakening.com. Just visit the page and have a look, and we would love you to join us.
We really would love you too. Okay, so I'm going to lead you through a meditation. You still with us? Yes? Okay, wonderful. Let's take a nice deep breath in and a releasing breath out. Just let it all out. And another deep, deep, deep big breath in. Blow up your belly, bring that breath all the way up to your chest and just sigh it out and just release any tension that you're feeling in your shoulders. And just start to bring a wave of beautiful relaxation over you. So just imagine now just softening your head. Just soften the little muscles around your eyes. Unclench your jaw. Soften the muscles around your mouth. Put your mouth into a little bit of a smile. That's it. And now bring that relaxation down into your neck. Soften your neck. Into your shoulders. Drop your shoulders and soften them. And now bring that energy all the way down through your torso, front and back. Softening. Letting go of any resistance that you're feeling. Bringing that wave of relaxation into your hands. And noticing the energy that you can feel in your hands. Keep your hands open, unclenched. Keep softening your body. That's it. Now bring this energy down through your hips, into your legs, all the way down through your feet. Feel the energy as it goes into your feet. You might feel the energy in your feet and your hands. This is the life force. That's it, beautiful. Now take your awareness to your heart, to your physical heart, and set an intention to soften that heart, to open it, to keep opening it, to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Now imagine a beautiful blue flame on the left-hand side of you. It's the beautiful flame of the masculine, crystalline, blue, masculine, the divine masculine that's within you. It's on the left-hand side of you. Just imagine that beautiful flame, ready and able to heal. And now on the right of you, imagine a beautiful pink flame, representing the feminine energy, the mother energy, divine mother energy. Now imagine bringing those two flames together and placing them in your heart, together, so that they start to dance together in a beautiful dance of light, right there in the middle of your heart. That's it. Just let them imagine that there was beautiful music playing and they were just dancing and uniting and being one together. And now bring a beautiful white diamond light from above your head. A diamond white light of I am consciousness. Perfectly pure. Bring that light down all the way down through your head, down through your neck, right into that heart center. And let it ignite those two dancing flames so that it forms a very vibrant violet flame inside your heart. Violet, pure, pure, pure. The energy of transmutation, transformation, a very high vibration of the divine. The bright violet light, which is similar to the white light which we get from connecting all the colors of the rainbow. That violet light which integrates and unites and purifies. Take that violet light and send it to any area in your body where you might have physical discomfort. This pure violet, pure divine light. Send it straight to that area with great love from your heart. Just let it flood into that area and clear out whatever is no longer needed, whatever is no longer serving you. Be it a physical pattern, be it an emotional pattern, a mental pattern, an old conditioned state of being. Set the intention of clearing that with this violet light. That's it. Just keep sending it to that place. And you can keep doing this over and over throughout the week. And now let that take your attention back to your heart, where this beautiful, vibrant, cleansing violet flame is. And allow that flame to grow and to expand and to radiate outwards so that it fills your whole body until you are surrounded by this beautiful, flowing, incredibly pure white violet flame which protects you, which keeps you safe, which keeps you at one with the divine. And see yourself standing in the middle of this flame, igniting it from the core of your heart and sending it out. And now imagine all of us standing together as violet flames, right now. And imagine all of us sending that violet light, just shining. We don't even have to send it, we can just shine and let it just emit and spread light throughout our country, throughout our world. Beautiful. Bring your attention back to your heart. Take one nice deep breath into your heart again. Reconnect with your own heart. Set an intention. Plant a seed in this place of quietness, in this place of stillness. Plant a seed for yourself for the next 2 weeks. It can be a seed of intention. I intend to. And keep revisiting this place to nourish that seed and water that seed. Keep visiting this place of stillness. That's where you'll nourish and nurture it. Take a beautiful deep breath in. And a lovely relaxing breath out. And bring your attention to your hands. You might rub them together. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.
That was powerful. Thank you, Michelle. That was really powerful. Very powerful color to visualize.
Yeah, it is, because it's the color of unity.
Yeah.
Kind of all the colors of the rainbow all coming together.
Yeah. And to also surround our leaders with that light.
Yeah,
it's really important to do that at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
So before we close, let's choose a card, shall we? An affirmation card for the week. Shall we do that? Yeah.
The card is, I choose to see peace instead of drama.
And it's a purpley card. Purpley card. I choose to see peace instead of drama. So this week, as we said, there may be a bit of drama with the dualistic nature of the yin-yang dance, where you get pulled particularly into situations that come up from the past. Just come back into centeredness and just say the affirmation, I choose to see peace instead of the drama.
Beautiful.
Bless you. We will see you, well, those on the course, we'll see you tomorrow night for our Zoom meetup. That's wonderful. That's at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll meet up again Wednesday night for our Wednesday night midweek satsang. That's at 7:30. But please go and have a look at the website, journeysofAwakening.com, and see what we have to offer there. And if you enjoyed this evening, if you find value in it, and if you would like to share the light, please share this post with your friends and family, and let's keep the light shining. Bless you. Have a wonderful, beautiful, centered, peaceful, and love-filled week. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Michelle.
everyone.
Thank you. Night to night.